Welcome back, everybody, to the Fretboard Journal podcast. I am your host, Jason Verlinde, the publisher of the Fretboard Journal magazine. 20 years ago, around this time, we were assembling the very first issue of the Fretboard Journal magazine, and we are still at it. Not with that first issue. Now we're on issue 58, and issue 57 is going to be mailing to everybody from our printer very, very soon. So if you want in on the world's coolest guitar magazine, go to fretboardjournal.com, click on the subscribe button, join us finally. We would love to have you. Now, as a byproduct of this magazine and then this podcast that you're listening to, we started this event called the Fretboard Summit. It has snowballed beyond our wildest expectations, and our latest summit is taking place August 21st to 23rd in Chicago at the Old Town School of Folk Music. If you want to attend this thing and you are within driving distance of Chicago, or you are just an impulsive individual who loves jumping on a last-minute flight and getting a hotel, you can join us. Go to fretboardsummit.org. We are still selling Friday and Saturday day passes for folks who just want to go to the Guitar Expo and see all the incredibly cool creations that are going to be unveiled there. We've got lots of never-before-seen and prototype instruments from brands large and small at the summit. Everybody views it as a pretty cool, safe space to kind of test the waters on gear that maybe you'll see at NAMM in January or maybe not. Now, we also have tons of programming at the summit. That's what makes it truly unique. Live podcast tapings, interviews with industry luminaries, master classes from some of our favorite musicians. And on today's show, you're going to hear about a very unique guitar that we're going to see up close and personal at the summit. It's an instrument that came out of the Hurricane Helene damage, and shepherding this whole project is the one and only Jayne Henderson. Now, we've had Jayne on the show before. Jayne has been to our summit before. I'm happy to announce that she and her father, Wayne Henderson, another incredible guitar maker, are going to both be at the summit. Wayne's actually going to be leading a jam that any of you bluegrass types can join at the summit for both days. And Jayne, meanwhile, is going to be talking about this incredibly cool instrument built of white oak that she and some of her Asheville luthiery pals have built as a joint project. This is sort of a unique thing in the world of guitar making, where a guitar kind of gets passed around and everyone has a little bit different facet of what they add to it. And I wanted to hear all about it. So since Jayne was in Seattle with her family, I dragged her here to the Fretboard Journal's headquarters, and we had this interview. I hope you enjoy it. I'll be posting pictures of this guitar, if it is in fact finished in time, on our Instagram, as well as the show notes for this podcast. So stay tuned for that. And as always, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of this community. The nicest thing about the summit for me is that I get to hear from so many of you all who are usually quiet. You come out of the house, you tell me the podcast meant a lot to you. You tell me about how excited you are to see your favorite people from the podcast in person. And it's just a cool, it feels like a family reunion. So I hope a bunch of you can make it. I hope a bunch of you will stop me as I'm running around with a clipboard and a walkie-talkie or whatever and say, "Hey, Jason," and don't be intimidated to do that. I know it looks like I'm insane. I'm only partially insane during the summit. Mostly I'm having a great time. And I hope you enjoy this conversation with the one and only Jayne Henderson. Jayne Henderson, welcome.
Hello. Thank you for letting me come hang with you again. Always.
Let's move the mic a little.
Always.
In front of you.
Always a pleasure. Okay.
So this is a rare Seattle visit.
Yep. I get to come to Seattle once a year, but it's usually just for PSGW, for Puget Sound Guitar Workshop, which is amazing. So if you want to learn new skills, go do that. However, it's hard because I take a whole week off and I'm here, but I'm not really here, and I don't get to do things like come to see you. And so now I get to.
Can we talk? Obviously, you've been on the podcast before. You've been to our Fretboard Summit. You're coming back to our Fretboard Summit. You have a very special guitar can we talk about the guitar right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd love to, though. I hope I have a timeline. It's hard, I don't know if it's one of those, it's kind of where it's like a science project, group project. And I'm like, guys, we have to we have to hit these deadlines so that we can bring it. So we'll see. I hope we can get it done. I mean, and that was interesting working with my friends. But the cool thing about this guitar that we're hoping to bring is that it's all wood that was felled by the Hurricane Helene that recently, or I guess almost a year ago now, went through our community of Asheville and Western North Carolina and my dad's area too. But it was devastating for us, and it was devastating just as a community, but it was so hard to see those materials, these beautiful woods. We have so much, that we work to protect those mountains. Now it's just, let's just knock it all down. So I really didn't want those trees to just die in vain. So I thought we should celebrate the trees that are local to our area, and we didn't have to cut them down. Climate change did that for us. So we just grabbed some. I have a friend who has a mobile mill. He just drove it around, and anything that he could get to before the Department of Transportation threw it into the chipper.
Yeah, these were like on the roads?
Yeah, they were just sort of, and he would like go out and find them, but they were all just around his community of Fairview. And a couple of my other friends also did that. Just like go and grab some. And a friend has a bunch of walnut, and he brought me some of that. He got it out of his yard, I believe. So it's just one of those things. I was thinking, to help us heal, to help us feel together and heal a little bit. Let's see if we can make something out of this and make it a positive experience. And so far it has been.
So let's first hear the woods that are actually in the guitar. What are the woods?
Mostly white oak.
Okay.
And red spruce. Okay. And it's some beautiful, amazing red spruce that one of my friends got from White Top, where my dad lives.
Yeah.
And it's some of the best red spruce that there could be, but you can't cut it. It's not because you don't want to decimate those trees, because their old growth have been there for 300 years. And now, all right, free game.
Was the oak a similar thing where it was like old growth? Mm-hmm. You would never touch that with a 10-foot pole normally, but nature took it down?
Yeah. I mean, I guess with oak, it's a little bit different just because with big timber and, people will clear oak like it's nobody's big concern. But it was similar, I guess, where it's like people would not have typically cut these trees. And now we have them at our disposal. I don't want them to go and rot or left for mulch.
Totally. Okay. So you're using all domestic, all local, at least tone woods.
Yep. And the neck is maple, curly maple.
Okay. And then, as if this wasn't hard enough, finding guitar grade woods on the side of the road, you're roping friends into this.
Yes. I was just thinking, I have a group of luthier friends, and we meet, maybe once a month to just be friends, but also to talk about guitar stuff or how our projects are going. And, what do you think of this new brace pattern that I've come up with? What do you think? And we hang out that way, but we have never collaborated. And I thought it might be really, I wonder how that would be. I wonder if I could convince my friends to make a guitar for free, but could we all hang out together? And it wasn't a hard sell. I got my friend Judson Riviere and Kyle Landers. They both agreed to help me and do this with me. And we sort of have separated our tasks. I wanted to voice the top because so I made the body, but I hate doing binding. I was like, Judd, you're on binding, because he makes, it's like we sort of separated it to each other's strengths and what we really enjoyed to do. Kyle and I are working on inlay ideas. He has amazing creative ideas when it comes to aesthetics and using alternative materials for inlay. And Judd's, if you haven't seen his binding and purfling work, it's so beautiful. like his sound holes, everything is just so lovely, and the things that he's coming up with. So I thought, he's on that.
Yeah.
I'll do what I feel like I can do really well, is make a body that's going to sound good, that's going to have that soul in it, like my dad taught me, and then pass it. And Kyle and I are working on the inlay, and then he wanted to work on the neck because he's a banjo maker also, and that's a thing that it's a strength. He likes to do it. I hate it. I don't hate it. I don't hate any of it.
I was going to say, in the 20 years of the Fretboard Journal and however many years we've been podcasting, I think this is the first time any luthier has ever admitted that people have strengths and then presumably weaknesses. Because most people just talk about all the craft and all that they do. Nobody ever says, I hate doing that job.
Well, if you know me, you know that I am not going to lie. And I am the first one to tell you when I like or do not like something. And I love, though, and I'm proud of that too. It's okay but it's sort of a relief too, where it's like, I know that Judd can do this super well. I know that I don't love it, or my router isn't as reliable.
Yeah.
I know that he can make his jig work better. I know that Kyle loves to make things with a 3D printer and have these amazing jigs to make certain things work. I know that, and we knocked it out a little bit quicker that way, I think, because I know here's how I make a body. I know that, and I can get it all set up and ready and done. Here you go. And, none of us is really hung up. And it was really cool to sort of pass it along and then meet with each other and watch each other's processes. I think that was another thing that I loved, is it made me feel like a stronger builder. I know that, I've been doing this for so much longer than it feels like.
Yeah.
And I feel like at some point I should think that I'm worthy of talking to you. I don't know if it'll ever be, but it's just like, at some point, shouldn't I feel like I know what I'm doing? I don't know. But it felt really good to teach some of the things or show some of my methods, and then to watch Judd's methods and say, okay, that's amazing. Okay, cool. We do it really similarly. I love that. And a lot of, because Judd is very meticulous in the way that, and both of them are, but in the way that he works, he's like, I'm not even going to measure. I used to measure all these things like super, super perfect. I'm not going to, and, I'm just going to make it what looks good. I'm like, that's awesome. I'm glad, because there's no pressure on this build either. It's just for us to be friends and to put something beautiful into the world and hope to donate some money to a cause that, that's still working to restore our environment and our community. But we're not worried about, there's no client saying, well, it has to be this and it has to be that. And we just get to make what we think is cool. But I loved seeing that. I loved seeing the way he worked, because I would not have expected that from him. And he said he used to worry about that and had plans to have jigs and he's like, but then that takes the love and the art out of it. And it's like, yeah, that's absolutely true. And that makes me feel validated, because I'm not great with jigs. I like to do things per guitar for the specific instrument, because I feel each one deserves its own attention from me. I don't know if that's weird, but so it felt validating to me that it wasn't that someone with the caliber of his guitars that he worked with, Jason Costal. They're good.
Yeah.
And they know how to make an amazing guitar, and they're in a different realm, like Wayne, and he is too, but like Wayne taught me a certain way where it's like, well, just take this pocket knife and do it. And it's like, cool. I will try to do that. And now I understand, but it's been 15 years.
Totally.
But I think it's nice when Judd's also like, well, let's just do it.
Yeah.
It felt really validating to me to work on this and to collaborate.
Yeah. So I have so many questions. You've got a banjo maker. You've got Riviere, who worked with Jason Costal. We've got mostly bluegrass and ukuleles.
Yep.
What is this guitar? Like, what is the style?
So we decided, because I was doing the body, we would just go straightforward Martin OM specs, sort of. Judd brought some abalone that he was like, well, I have this extra. I like it. I'm like, cool, we'll use it. And you know what I think? I'm going to put maple, and it'll be really maple forward. So it's oak, but then that will end up staining probably a rich brown, but then it has maple binding, maple sound hole with some abalone. It doesn't look traditional really in that. And then the end piece that Judd made is very signature him. And I love that it's just so pretty. And a floating one, normally I put mine in first and route it off and then put the purfling on, or I put a piece and inlay my piece in, and he did it a different way, and where it's all joined around, so it looks sort of floating, but it is beautiful. But that's something that he does on his instrument, so I loved that. So it's just a collaboration, and then Kyle and I are working on some mountain/water motif for the fingerboard. Because if you hold it this way, it looks like mountains. If you hold it this way, it looks like a river.
Oh.
And
fancy.
Yeah.
Whose name? All the names on the headstock? No names on a headstock?
I was trying to come up with a cute little logo for just like Asheville Luthiers, like AVL Luthiers. Oh. And I think I'm going to make a little patch for the inside, and we all sign the top. We all, but I don't think either that or no name on the headstock. We just haven't decided yet. But
should I be worried that we're talking in Seattle and that the summit is in like 3 weeks, and you're talking about this guitar like it's got a lot of work to be done on it?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and no. So I am planning when I get home. So I did my part. I'm like, look, mine's done. I'm going to Seattle. And Kyle's like, well, I have to go to Clifftop to sell banjos. I'm like, cool. Well, fine. We're going to take a break. When I get home,
rejuvenated.
Yeah. When I get home, we are going to work. We have to finish the neck. I had hoped that we'd gotten the neck slotted and made and everything, or the fingerboard at least. Anyway, so hopefully we'll get it done. And then I'm planning to go to my dad's to do finish. I'll do the finish work in about a week.
Okay. Or maybe it'll just be like an artist rendering, like a airbrush, like a timeshare development at the summit, and you can. Yeah, or I'll just
or we could bring the bits. I mean, I'm happy to bring the pieces. Like, here, look at this piece of wood.
I always think of, I guess, because so many luthiers are proprietary, or not proprietary, everybody's sharing knowledge, but like, I always think of it kind of like a closed ecosystem. But could your dad or Judd or any number of builders you're close to hand you the parts of a guitar and you're like, yeah, I can finish this? Yeah.
Probably. That's what we've done.
I know.
I mean, and my dad absolutely can, because I was like, well, my dad's going to be in on this too, because I'm going to need him to work on this while I am visiting my mom. I have to go up and see my mom too. So
okay. A lot of trips.
So Wayne will have his hands on it as well, probably. Okay. He doesn't know that yet, but.
The greater Asheville area luthiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Western North Carolina and Virginia.
I can't wait to see this guitar. I know somebody listening to this is going to be like, did you keep any of the rest of the wood for your own projects? Were you able to do that?
Yeah, I've got a lot. My friend Josh said, just come, you're welcome to it. I just cut it and stored it, and I don't have really a plan. He's a contractor though. He's used several pieces of pine and a couple other things to make stuff around his own house, and he probably will put elements in his house builds around Asheville as well. But I'd love for you to have it. And so I have several boards. It took a bit of effort. The biggest problem was getting it dry. I will say that. I
was going to say, when was this hurricane?
It was a year ago.
It was several natural disasters ago.
Yeah, it was a bunch of natural disasters, which
sadly,
which isn't great. But yeah, no, it was in September. But we got it kiln dried. We dried everything, and my little moisture meter says about 8%. So that's pretty good.
Has the red spruce white oak combo been done before by you, or?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It's a favorite. Or
I have done it before.
Yeah.
I have several other oak builds coming up.
Okay.
Really excited about, but it's not this specific oak. Because we do need to let the rest of it dry. Like we only threw that one in the kiln.
Yeah.
But I have wood also from. Story I'll tell you.
Okay.
But it's not this.
We'll talk about it in Chicago.
Yeah. But I don't know. And I think sort of the bigger picture of we need to get behind using sustainable or different local materials, at least something that's a little bit easier to get, that's not going to decimate the whole population like Brazilian, all these exotics that have a pretty high carbon footprint to get here. I would just love it if we could change the narrative that you have to have Brazilian or whatever to be the highest end, beautiful. And those woods are amazing. I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying I want oak to be up there too. I want oak to be seen as, oh, this isn't a secondary wood, or this isn't just like, oh, slapped together because we have it, but it's like, oh, it's a commodity as well. And it's beautiful and gets the job of are done.
Yeah, you're dealing with the higher end realm. I'm guessing most of your clients have those traditional woods. How are they comparing them when they get the finished product from you?
Yeah,
we're about to have lunch with one of your clients. But
he has a Brazilian dreadnought for me and an oak dreadnought for me. So I would be interested to ask him. But me personally, I think I've never made an oak guitar that I haven't thought was really good. And it's dense enough. It doesn't have that ring. Brazilian is very special where when you tap on it, you can hear that bell like ring. And oak doesn't quite have that, but it has enough. It's close enough where I feel like it's a mix between a mahogany and a Brazilian, where you get balance and that, and that twinkly, but also you get a bit extra bass to it, I think, to like something that really adds a little more balance. Whereas like Brazilian can be boomy and mahogany can be brighter. And I feel like it's sort of a middle of the road.
Do you change how thick things are based off of the wood?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, always. And the size as well. But I go from, I have a starting point of, what my dad's told me, the thick, it's about this. But you tap on it, does it resonate? And there's a time where, there's that balance of getting the tone so that those sound waves can vibrate enough through that wood, but also it can be stable when it's a guitar with all that pressure on it. You have to, there's a certain, that sweet spot of finding that. And yeah, because of the densities, they're not all going to be exactly the same. And each piece of wood is different.
I'm showing my ignorance here as a luthier. I'm a luthier wannabe. Have you started out with like a back and you tapped in, you're like, it's got to go through the sander again? Is that how it works? I mean, I know measure twice, cut once.
Yep.
I've heard that.
That is very useful information.
Okay.
Sometimes I don't heed that and it comes back.
You cut twice and measure once?
Yeah. And then I'm like, whoops. But yes, I will. You can feel it too. Sometimes, you get it down to the thickness that you like. And that is your typical, like my sort of starting point. And and you can feel it. And if it feels too heavy and too stiff, you want to take it down just a little bit more. But again, not enough that it isn't still stable, because especially the thinner you get, the more it'll move with humidity.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think that. You see all the arch top people kind of like chiseling away and feeling it. I've never thought about it with flat tops and flat backs before.
Not everyone does that, I suppose, but I do because I can, because, like factory instruments are going to be cut to the same thickness because they just need to go right through. That's why some old Martins sound amazing and some a little less. They're all amazing. But, it's just like you can finagle that and get a bit like more be more precise when you're a small builder and are paying attention to that you're handling.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much. For those of us who don't have a famous guitar making father, where should wannabe luthiers, young or I guess just young, where would you send somebody?
I think there are some amazing schools. And since I haven't gone through any of them, I don't know absolutely for sure. But if you want to sort of just get started to get a feel for it, I have my friend Spencer runs a class at the Jayne Henderson School of Traditional Arts in Marion, Virginia. And they do an amazing luthier program. It's not necessarily teaching you the skills to be a builder, but it's letting you dip a toe.
And
where
you end up with a guitar at the end?
And you end up with a guitar at the end. But you can realize, do you really love this? Is this something that your hand, I feel like everybody, oh yeah, I want to build a guitar. I mean, like same as me, I want to be a brain surgeon. I'm not going to stick my hands in somebody's brain, So it's like, it gives you a way to see if it's something that you'd like. And I do recommend that first because it's so many specialized skills. And yeah, some of the school, I've heard really good things and less good things about I'd say a lot of these lutherie programs, but I don't know any specific because I didn't go to one, but I know Judd did. And I know another, other folks that did, and they had great experiences. So if I think of it, or maybe put a link if I can ask him, or we can talk about it at the summit.
We can, and we're going to be talking about this guitar.
Yep.
And maybe hopefully seeing the artist rendering or playing it.
Yep. Hopefully we'll have it, but yes, there's always a chance that we might not.
That's okay. And who gets to buy this thing?
I guess whoever would like it. I'm not sure if we want to auction it or raffle it. I think I'd like to raffle it just because I'd like to give more people an opportunity to have it. But we just haven't really come up with an idea. I hope people will be able to see it at the summit, and it'll open it up to a bigger audience of high-end buyers.
We'll follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and we'll be sending all sorts of summit updates, including how one could possibly get this guitar.
Yeah.
Your dad is coming to Chicago. He's going to be throwing a little pick-in parlor room.
He's going to be so excited.
Yep. So any bluegrassers who are listening to this,
yes,
if you ever wanted to play with Jayne Henderson,
come hang with Wayne. He would love it.
Only rule is, and I think you told us last time, like don't bring him desserts and try to butter him up for a guitar.
None of that. Just come hang.
People.
Yeah, just be cool. That's what I say to everyone. It's like, just don't be weird.
That's so hard for some people.
No, right? Just be cool. Go say, hey, he would love it. He loves to visit with folks, and especially if he can impart playing advice or anything like that to a young kid, come. That's his jam. Yeah.
And then you'll also be talking about the toolbox book. And I don't want you getting flagged by the TSA, but if you can bring the pocket knife, you should.
If they steal that pocket knife, I would be so upset.
I know. Maybe don't. Maybe just autograph them. We'll bring you a Sharpie. And
I mean, I can pack a Sharpie. That'd be fine. That's my favorite knife. My pink polka dotted case is just my favorite little friend.
All right.
But thank you so much for having me at the summit and letting us use this amazing platform.
Yeah, of course.
To get this out.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that was my conversation with Jayne. I hope you enjoyed it. I can't wait to see what this thing looks like and to play it, of course. I'm really excited, and it's really an interesting project. As always, if you love the show, leave us a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts, and please thank our sponsors, Peghead Nation, Mike and Mike's Guitar Bar, and Stringjoy Strings.